What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Virgin Galactic, ticker is SPCE. Well, it's been interesting over the last little bit, so I want to give you a good breakdown of the data points and what they're all saying and whether right now is a good time to buy or not. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get right to it. So on Thursday, it did close down 1.25%, but it had a new 52-week and all-time low of $2.98. And because of what has been happening, it is now a little bit more additionally bearish on the technicals, because currently it is trading between the S3 and the S2. So 257 is as far as the next support level that you can really watch for. And vice versa, $3.33 is the next big now resistance level. So of course it's sitting right below that. So in general, a lot of stocks that are really suffering financially are trading between this S3 and S2. So of course you can kind of see this range as financial health at this stage. But when it comes down to it, as of their latest earnings, it does show that they have $909 million in cash equivalents and short-term investments, $415.72 million in debt, but versus they are spending and kind of burning this $380 million almost every quarter. So potentially liquidity does come into play, especially with the recent news that did come out about Virgin Orbit. It just sparked a hell of a lot of fear, and I'm very surprised that a lot of analysts haven't really jumped all over space and just really taken it down and kind of cut their ratings potentially, but nothing has happened as of right now. Social sentiment though is very much negative, so of course just let you know about that. And when it comes down to it, like I said, the latest ratings was from Bank of America, and that was on March the 16th, where they did give a $3 price target and they did cut it down from 4. So again, it is what it is. That might potentially be coming next week, maybe, but currently the average target price among all the actual analysts is $4.50. That does represent a roughly 43% upside. So of course, if you are one of those individuals that likes to follow big money and potentially what they are doing, they kind of are a little bit more optimistic a little bit. And based on Q4, so the latest round of 13F, so it is now the time of ETFs and also institutions to disclose their positions in, for instance, Virgin Galactic to the SEC. It does go to show for the most part that some have increased their position, as you can tell, so 75% per se, 25%, 39%, but there is some short positions that are being created now through these ETFs. So definitely a little bit more mixed results in the overall health. And like I said, overall, I think it just goes down to this, especially given the environment that we are in, a very higher interest rate environment. And a lot of these growth stocks that are very much heavily reliant on debt is just suffering right now. But of course, I'm not financial advised, so you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. When it comes down to the options though, things have really turned for the worse. So from Thursday, there was $993.85 thousand in puts being purchased versus $384,000. So of course, there's a lot more downside that is anticipated, and I think that is largely because of it just breaking below this S2 level on a technical stance. So of course though, like I've mentioned in previous videos, options activity doesn't necessarily move the stock price. It's a little bit more of a sentiment behind the scenes. So once again, just be aware of that. As far as some big transactions on the secondary market, there's been no transactions since the 21st. As far as dark pool, I will give you guys a quick overview of that. So dark pool, there was a couple of transactions, 3 in fact, so 110, 109, and 114,000. And unfortunately, you can't really tell whether they were buys or sells based on this. But I guess if you want to take a step back and realize for every transaction there is a buyer and a seller, so I guess someone is in theory buying behind the scenes. And when it comes down to it, like I mentioned, you really want to look at the technicals, because that's going to be one of the biggest driving factors for Virgin going forward. And the only reason why it did pull back and kind of have a nice retracement back in on Thursday at least was because 9 times out of 10, if you do go outside the Bollinger Band, which is this blue line right here, especially if it's unjustifiable, you get pulled back in. So like I said on my previous video, when this did come out, I feel this is very much unjustified. The fact that because of Virgin Orbit filing bankruptcy, a lot of people are now linking that to potentially what might be coming Virgin Galactic's way. And I think that's just flawed thinking, in my opinion, of course. So in reality, this is why it did get pulled back in, because people started to realize that it's really comparing apples and oranges. So again, it's one of those situations that if you're one of those individuals that likes to buy when there is blood, well, there's a ton of blood right now. And like I've mentioned on my last update video, around here, I believe it was, this is more so a virtual cliff. And coincidentally, this is exactly what we are doing. We're falling off of the cliff right now. And I do have a small position with Virgin, so not too much. I believe I do have an average of $4.40, somewhere around there, which even at that price, I felt that it was pretty good, a good risk versus reward. And in reality, ever since their earnings did come out, I feel that at this stage, like given the price where it's currently at versus where I bought, not much has fundamentally changed. So in reality, if you still do believe that a lot of bigger and better things are coming, take advantage of these discounted prices while you can. But of course, you have to realize that Virgin is a very high risk, high return investment that could potentially turn south a little bit. And as far as this, so Stochastic is currently at 10, which is very mind-blowingly oversold. So if there is a good piece of news that does come out for Virgin, then in theory, it could kind of go up very fast because of that. But when it comes down to it, it has to break that 333. That is the next big resistance point, like I mentioned, and then potentially from there, 380. So generally, it would have a lot to kind of get over in reality. Momentum number of retail investors were getting in on Thursday, so clearly a lot of people are very much valuing that discounted price potentially, like I said, because it did hit 298. So to start off, give yourself a shout out in the comments below if you did take advantage and buy on Thursday potentially, or where you see things going. But fundamentally, I actually do believe in Virgin. Oddly enough, just maybe something about me just has a weird feeling that Virgin is going to do a lot of good things, but they're probably going to come into a little bit more of a liquidity issue next quarter. So they'll definitely have to dilute at that stage or find additional funding somehow. But I do see that coming. But regardless of that, I still see Virgin doing a lot of good things fundamentally, of course. But again, I could be wrong. I'm not a financial advisor. So in reality, if this does go back down to the $2 range, I probably will increase my position and average down. Because like I said, a lot of what happened here is just very much unjustified and not very much directly linked to Virgin. Just a lot of people just comparing apples and oranges, like I said. But once again, I could be very much wrong. Let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you do like my Virgin content and want to support the channel, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. One final thing, even though Virgin Galactic is tentatively going down a little bit, what you can do, take advantage and get one additional free share through Moomoo. Just open up a free account and you get a free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Plus you get $0 commission, free level 2 data as well. So kind of a no-brainer. Link in the description below and also the comments. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. And if you do want to throw $100 at the account, you get a total of 5 free stocks. So make sure you guys take advantage of that while you can. Link in the description below and also the comments. And without further ado, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Virgin Galactic.